Today we're going to be painting the Long Island sign with the longitude and latitude. One of my first steps is I'm going to take a wipe and just wipe, this is an alcohol wipe, I'm just going to wipe the longitude and latitude just because I am not going to paint this because if you paint it, you won't be able to tell the letters. So I'm just wiping it because it takes off some of the burn marks. As you could see on the wipe, it's a little dirty. Once I wipe that, I'm going to set that aside with all the other wood pieces because our first step is we're going to paint our background. So I am just going to use white for my background, and I'm just taking my big brush and going left and right. I'm going to put 2 coats on it. The more coats, the more opaque the color is. But you guys could really do this any color. You can make it gray. You could also make a maroon. I'm going to show you how to make a maroon later in the video. But I think white is just the cleanest look. So I just took a little white. I'm going left to right, and I'm going to put 2 coats and do your edges as well. I'm going to set that board aside to dry, and while it's drying, I'm going to paint my other little pieces. So I'm going to make my Long Island gray. So that's my first step, is I'm going to make some gray. So I have a lot of white on this sponge brush. If you do have to wash out the sponge brush, you need to wash it in like a sink and really dry it out after. So I have a little white, and I'm just going to add some black to it. I kind of want to make it a dark gray. I'm going to keep on adding some black to it. And you're going to need a good amount of paint. So don't be shy. You want to make more than you need. So I'm just adding some black to my white to make gray. And I'm adding a lot of black right now, just so I could get it a little darker. And I'm also going to make a little extra gray because I'm going to put some gray in the background of my whiteboard as well. So I think I have a gray that I like. I'm going to start painting my Long Island. Take that heart away. And I'm just going to, you could use your big brush or you could use your small brush. I'm going to use my big brush, put a couple of coats on with my big brush, and then I use my small brush at the end to get into all those little crevices to make sure like there isn't paint pooling in little curves. After I painted, I realized I wanted it a little darker, so I just added a little black and just blended that black into the gray. Just wanted to give it a little darker so there's a little more contrast. So once the Long Island is finished, you can move on to your heart. Your heart, you could either use red, you could use a different shade of gray, use whatever you like. I'm going to make a maroon. How I make maroon is just red with a tiny bit of black. you want more red than black, and you only need a tiny bit of black. And the color is going to be very dark when you look at it, but as it dries, it lightens up and more of that red comes through. If you don't like it the first round you paint it, the first coat, you could always just add more red the second coat. But you could do your heart whatever your color. I just did it maroon just for something different. I'm setting all those little pieces aside, and I'm going to bring my whiteboard back. To my whiteboard, I am going to add a little gray in the background. I did a little example on the upper right, but all I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my sponge brush, which already has gray, take off some of the paint, and you just go left to right really lightly. And you don't want that much paint on your brush, so you want to make sure you squeeze all that gray out of the sponge brush. And I'm just going to go left to right. It's going to give a different texture to the wood. We're now going to wait for all our pieces to dry, and once all our pieces dry, we're going to come back and put it together. Now it is time to glue. So you're going to lay out all your pieces however you'd like. Make sure your heart's in the right place. And I only gave you the heart. You could use it, you don't have to use it. You could even put it right next to the longitude and latitude. But all you got to do is once you lay everything out, put a little bit of glue on the back. You could use any glue, Elmer's, school glue, wood glue. I would suggest using like just regular Elmer's, just because school glue, I'm using school glue, but sometimes it doesn't dry clear. And a little bit of glue goes a long way. Make sure you get like the fork end of Long Island and the little beaches over there, just so it glues down nice and flat. You might have to hold it down a little bit because the Long Islands are big pieces. So when you glue it, you might need a little pressure on the Long Island so it stays flat. And then once you glue the Long Island, you could use your heart however you'd like. I tried to put the heart right around West Hempstead. So I hope you guys had fun painting with me, and have a great day.